Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Greedfall, where we are going to go help this expedition and hopefully turning Eden into an actual cooperation between native and colonist rather than the kind of stuff that happened in the real world. Because right now it's looking like the kind of stuff that happened in the real world. Okay. There is something, I mean, there is some there's some dangerous fiction that goes on. There's some fiction that goes on in here that I don't want to get into the politics of it right now. There are some issues, of course. There's some issues with every game. It's hard not to run into something that is a dangerous misconception, because people are people, and pretty much any misconception is dangerous. It's just sometimes the danger of the misconception is one that you won't run across very often. But anytime you don't understand something well, it's dangerous. But anyway, I should stop. This is probably why I'm not the best. It's probably why I never collect YouTube subscriptions. Is because I start waxing serious and political and I get into a rant. Anyway, let's see how long it took. It takes 5 hours 47 minutes to get there. Okay, it's very conceivable that within 24 hours they could get up to there, run into trouble, and he could get back. That's conceivable. Hey, let's see if we have anything we can sell. Well, there's this stone needle we definitely don't need. We have a small rifle. I'm not using that. Okay. Do we have... I don't think I need a navigator's coat. I'm going to keep the doublet just because it looks really cool. Oh, you know what now? I could have come into this game and designed the pictures for my characters and the writing thing I do now. I'm trying to start now. Man. We'll keep the comfortable vest in case we have to pass as it. I don't think we're going to need that. That can sell. Tiern robe? I'll have to see if... Okay. It's not as good as what you're currently wearing. It's 1% better poison resistance, so that's getting sold. Actually, what are you wearing right now? Ancient straight saber. I can give you brown burgundy. Okay. What are you wearing, Siora? Anyway, we can continue the journey. We'll consider shopping episode later. Okay. Let's see what we have. We have tons of question marks, and some of them are things we want to go to. So, we're going to go south and through this way. Well, that's the only way we can go, so that's cool. So we're facing the wrong way. This is north. We don't want to go north. Or is this north? Okay, yeah, we don't want to go that way. I really like the fact that they had Brother Petrus.
I do not remember there being a path in this place the last time we came.
You're perfectly right, my child. This passage must have been cleared by the expedition. We should follow it.
my child. I really hate that form of address. Oh, well, there's somebody. Leowans are those things with the cobra-like heads. Kind of monitor lizard type thing. I don't like them. They're nasty. I had a hard time beating them the first.
Will we all have to die in the name of your folly?
All I did was bring you to the place suggested by the tablets. I have no way of knowing.
Really? But I did.
Hey, what's happening here? I could hear you from miles away.
Your Excellency, I'm so happy to see you. You arrived right on time to settle this matter.
How did you manage to find us in the middle of this swamp?
Brother Fidelis managed to reach Eden. He's the one who told us where your camp was.
But he didn't leave alone. What happened to Father Orbricus, who was accompanying him?
He died.
He must be dead, like our other companions. This is all your fault. This is yet more proof that you are not fit to lead such a team. I should be the one in charge.
Maybe you should calm down and explain to me what's happening here.
This expedition was undertaken with no concern for common sense. We are not equipped to explore this type of place. Our people are disappearing, and all we have found are some falsified writings.
Brother Virgil is terrified, which probably explains why he's being so disingenuous. We have made incredible discoveries, and we could find more.
You are beyond redemption. I won't waste another second talking to you.
Your
If you want to
Inquisition.
talk to me, Your Excellency, it will have to be without her.
How charming.
Okay. Lovely. He wants control of this expedition because he's Inquisition. He wants control of the information they find. And the Inquisition is vaguely aware that pursuing information about San Mateus's time on this island might not lead to information they want to be generally known.
Your Excellency, I hope you will forgive us for that scene. My relations with Virgil have always been difficult, but ever since we arrived here, it has been unbearable. I'm afraid we may need an arbiter.
Before anything else, I need to know what has led to this situation between you.
What would you like to know?
Okay.
Brother Fidelis told me that several members of the expedition have disappeared.
Yes, that's why he left along with Father Orbricus to fetch some help. 3 more of our colleagues are missing, and I'm not even talking about the ones who fell ill. I must admit that I underestimated the hardships we would encounter. I made a mistake. I should have prepared this expedition more thoroughly. But Virgil's being disingenuous does not help.
And no one has searched for those who are missing.
I wanted us to search for them, but someone later convinced me that it presented too much of a risk. Along with lack of preparation, our constantly decreasing number, and creatures swarming the area.
And by someone, I suppose you mean Brother Virgil.
Indeed.
He wants this to fail so he can take over.
For what reason were you quarreling?
The expedition itself, I'm afraid. Virgil was always against it, especially under my supervision. For him, our discoveries in Eden were sufficient. They confirmed what he wanted. The rest did not matter. According to him, we should never have continued. And when we found new tablets, it became even worse.
Were they also written by Saint Mateus?
Without a doubt. The handwriting is the same. There are also some patterns, some islander symbols. It's fascinating. But what really angers Virgil is the content we managed to decipher. Our founder explains that he learned a lot from the islanders, something our brother cannot accept. He now persists in saying that these tablets are fake, forged by the natives themselves.
I'm thankful for these pieces of information. But you understand that I will also have to talk to Brother Virgil.
Of course, that's understandable. You must hear us both before you can make a decision.
This is something that 7th Sea does as well, and I'm aware that the maker of 7th Sea is a person with issues that are awkward at the very least to deal with. But things like religious prejudice and all that, the extreme extremism, the only our religion is best type thing, is the purview of villains. Average people can be swayed one way or another by villains, and heroes are always portraying, they have some flaws and they make some mistakes of things, but in general, heroes in 7th Sea portray the best possible ideal of any particular philosophy. So a heroic king is the best possible king. A villainous king is all the worst things about being a king. Stuff like that. And that's something that this thing is doing as well. The Inquisition are very much the dark side of the religion. But they are in control right now because you can tell, because the entire, even if the Inquisition itself doesn't have control and somebody like the Cardinal Mother can arrest them all here, in a grander scale they're in control because the culture of Thlythlind is one of pushing their religion, and if you don't agree with pushing their religion, they'll try to conquer you. But yeah, they're very much set up as the darker side of things.
Brother Virgil,
What do you want?
can you explain to me what caused such a quarrel?
The reason for it is very simple. It is Eugenia's folly. This woman should never have been the supervisor of our team. The discoveries made in Eden were sufficient, but no. She didn't want to stop the research. She organized this expedition in a hurry, without taking elementary precautions, and now she's accepting as facts the delirious writings we discovered on these tablets, without doubting them for even 1 second.
What do you mean?
We found some new tablets, allegedly written by Saint Matthias,
I thought
but
this.
their content is so absurd that they were obviously forged. I am certain that the natives must have found these stones before us and modified their content.
How would they have done that? The natives cannot write.
Well,
They must
not
have
in
been
our
helped by an
language.
unscrupulous settler. How would I know?
Occam's razor, dude. Oh, that was another thing I like the 7th Sea. In 7th Sea, I'm talking about an RPG setting here now. In 7th Sea, the fantasy version of Catholic Church in that originally was based on the idea that the world is out there for us to discover more about it, and the process of science and discovery and investigation is also worship. And we are out there to learn more about how the world functions and all that. And the current situation with the Inquisition is, oh, no, we're up to the part of history where we shouldn't be doing any more discovery, we should be preparing for the apocalypse. And basically are clamping down on a lot of the scholars and all that. The only thing that's different here from 7th Sea is the church in here is expressly magical. They use sorcery. They are the ones that use all the magic. Whereas in 7th Sea, the Vadicine church and that is like, no, sorcery is terrible. No, we don't want to deal with sorcery. But anyway, here we go.
Brother Fidelis told me that some of your colleagues went missing. Do you know anything about this?
They did not go missing. They were killed. It was the wild beasts, the diseases, and let's not forget the savages. We can feel their presence, roaming around the camp at night. I am certain that they are responsible for the death of our colleagues.
That's strange. There aren't many villages around here.
There aren't any. There are a few hermits, but they are not fighters. And they have better things to do than roam around their camp at night.
We've been in this region before, and the only native we met was a little insane, but would have been incapable of killing several priests.
Those savages may very well have been following us since our departure. We will not be safe on this island until it is entirely converted.
I see. So, you haven't tried to find your colleagues?
So we can die as well. I am not as crazy as Sister Eugenia.
I cannot take sides in your quarrel for now. And in any case, it is not what matters the most. Even if you think they are dead, we have to try finding your colleagues.
Well, if you are prepared to take such a risk, I can only commend you for your bravery and wish you luck. but I would not get my hopes up. You should start by searching the excavation site. To get there, take the path south of here. But be careful. The creatures that roam the area are ruthless.
I think the Inquisition knew possibly what could be found by searching these tablets, and they had somebody on hand, an agent that knew something of the stuff that was discovered in the archives back in Thlythlind with, you know, the two defectors we helped. Who are probably now our propaganda piece. They may have been assassinated. Who knows? But they don't want the stuff that was found. Oh, I remember this now. It was blocked off the last time we were here. They don't want the stuff that the information that could possibly be found here out. And I think what we're going to be looking at here is the potential of a schism. The history of Christianity is full of schisms. You know, Orthodox, Greek Orthodox, and Roman Catholic. There's some really old Asian things, because there were some missionaries, and even one of the apostles got way east. One of the apostles died in India. Then there's the Ethiopian church, which is probably one of the oldest currently active churches of Christianity. They have some really old artifacts. I think one of their churches claims to have the Ark of the Covenant, which I didn't do follow that, but anyway, it's an interesting claim if nothing else. And this one doesn't seem to have as much in the way of schisms yet, but the kind of information we have possibly to find on San Mateos in this game almost certainly feels like, oh man,
This man's skull is sunken, but he doesn't look like he was in a fight. Could he have fallen?
That is unlikely. Look, my child. The wound is located at the back of the skull. I regret to say that, in my opinion, he was struck from behind. With a mace, most likely.
I wish I had science level 2. That might be interesting. You do not have this required. I'm thinking Brother Virgil
man's skull is sunken,
is killing
but he doesn't
people.
look like he was in a fight.
He wants this
Could he
to
have fallen?
fail.
That is unlikely. Look, my child. The wound is located at the back of the skull. I regret to say that, in my opinion, he was struck from behind. With a mace, most likely.
I like the fact that your companions can give you information. You can probably get more information if you have the proper talents. I'm more of the talky person, so the benefits I get comes from conversation. Oh no, no!
May the Enlightened protect me in this battle!
Let's jump right into a terrible beast. I do not like tinlins. Tinlins are annoying. I do not like most of the beasts. At least they're not Don Santas, those dang bad things. Friggin' poison bats, vampire bats. I like the fact he said diseases. Dude, you've been gone for less than 2 days. More tinlins. Oh, I did not mean to get that. light magic, and yet it has a... They call this light magic, and it has a distinctly purple and black outline on a lot of the stuff it does. Very, very light magic indeed.
This poor soul was almost entirely devoured. He must have been killed by swamp animals. Even so, this wound looks different from the others. It looks like a knife wound.
You're right. He was stabbed before being fed to the animals. But anyone could have used such a blade.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking this is Virgil. Virgil is, well, he's an Inquisitor, so by narrative tendency, he's going to be the bad guy. Also, he is way too eager and aggressive and just in general not being very... And he wants this expedition to fail so much badly. And the information we've discovered earlier in the game leads to the Inquisition really, really not wanting... Oh shoot! These things! I really hate these things. Okay.
The shadow engulf our enemies.
Friggin' long-legged crocodiles with snapping turtle heads. Ugh.
These fang marks were impressive. The poor man didn't have a chance. He must have been attacked by a large reptile. Most likely a Llewellyn. But what was he doing alone, so far from the camp? It seems obvious now that these disappearances were orchestrated.
The deaths of these people were a deception. Only the Renaigse are deceitful enough to do such a thing. They kill each other and accuse my people. This virgin, he wants to push aside this woman at all cost. He must be the culprit.
Indeed. I think that we should go find this brother and ask for an explanation.
Well, Siora, you were there when that... Was it the bone collector guy pulled the wool over our eyes? So let's not blame the... what is that? We'll have to look into that before we leave. Anyway, it's time for a new video. Glad I checked the timer just a moment there. I'll see you in a little bit.